Right, we're here. New camera angle for the channel and new EP finally, after weeks of going on about how I've got this new EP coming out. It's finally here. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I'd definitely recommend you go and check it out. I'll put a link in the description. Especially check out the first track, Purgatory, featuring my mate Bo, because this is what we're looking at today. We're going to be breaking down the track, going through how it all came together and how it was made. So it's a really simple beat. It focuses mostly on like drums and bass, and then there's some extra tension that comes in to build up textures from other instruments. So I'm just going to show you how that was done. But it all started from here, this string sample. So this is really simple from Splice. It's pitched down with a cassette effect on the top from Waves Factory, which just does like a slow down at the end. I use this quite a lot in quite a few of my beats if you listen to any of my other music before. After that, we've then got our drum loop. So this is featured throughout the whole track. I put on these plugins here. So Thermal is one of the main ones that I use. So I'll play you before Thermal and after, just so you can hear how great it is, really. And this is with Thermal. Slammed it with a compressor as well, just so it's really like in your face. It's the main element of the beat. We add in our 808s. These are audio files, not MIDI. You can do it either way, but I found that having the MIDI meant it was easier to cut it up and glitch it out with like halfway through the sounds, instead of MIDI where it's always quite the same. It makes it a little bit easier to manipulate in that way. Again, Thermal was on here. As always with anything like this, I'm going to chuck it on there. Check out my other video on Thermal, and I'll show, and you can see just how much I use it on everything, basically. So once we had those two elements, the next thing was really just how I was going to keep it interesting and engaging with some extra textures. So this came really from these three tracks down here. So we've got a analog sort of beep sound, which is this, along with a chop from the string sample at the beginning. And then we have our strings. The strings are coming from the ARP 2600 plugin from Arturia. I was modulating the pitch wheel and the cutoff to sort of make it swell up like that. So that's sort of coming in and out throughout the track until we get to the second half of the first bit, where we have the Farfisa from Arturia coming in as well. That just creates these single notes with delay on them. So the idea with that is they just sort of start building some more tension as we go in further, and they speed up towards the end of this section to really up the tension, basically. We then transition into the next section. I'll play you this part. So we have this drum fill, which I've panned from left to right to sort of create the transition into the next section, where we reintroduce just the sample. It's got vinyl on there to really crunch it up and make it a different texture from the intro, and then we're into the second section. So second section is actually quite similar to the first in terms of the structure. It's the same drum loop and 808, but they're cut up differently with a different pattern to give you a different kind of vibe, really. So it's more straight down the middle. You can see just from how they're cut up here compared to the first one. I've then used some slightly different textural sounds compared to the first half. We've got this rim shot sound up here, which has a stereo delay to pan it left and right. Kind of sounded a bit like a clock. That's kind of why I put it in there, to make it feel like it was counting down. And again, the whole point of this section is to just keep rising up in tension until we hit another sort of change, which is actually pulling down again, but not to the original sample, just to the 808 sound. So this is the last little bit of kind of semi-calm before the outro, which was meant to be just this big mess of low end and bass, basically, to like be all in your face. What I did was I combined these two synths together here. So this is the Arturia Mini V3 and the Logic ES2. The Mini V3 is doing all the sort of top end distortion, playing around with the cutoff, and then the ES2 is just doing a basic sine wave single oscillator down at the bottom to fill out all that low end, basically. And then we've just got, again, some of our textural sounds back in, the arpeggiated noise gate from the Farfisa, don't know why it's called that, because that's not what it is, and our strings on top. You can see this video was before I had my templates as well, which is another video I've done, which is why it's quite messy, so I do apologise for that. But this is our final section, nice, big and loud, to send us out on a high note at the end of the track. I'm just going to play these two basses together so you can hear them as well, actually. Again, these were completely slammed with like thermal and compressors, which is why I pulled them right down so that they weren't causing a massive amount of clipping. Probably could have been more efficient with how I did the actual signal chain on it, but it sounded good, so I left it. I think it worked really well. We introduced our string sample, chopped up more at the end as well to add some more chaos into the mix. But the whole idea was just, yeah, this big ending crescendo almost after the rapping's finished. Because I wanted this song to be a bit of a statement, really in your face, compared to the rest of the EP as well, to be honest. And a great way to open it up for anyone who's new to listening to me and everything. They get an idea of what's to come, basically. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Getting to just see a rough breakdown of how the beat came to be, how I made it, the sound design choices and everything. I'm going to be doing one of these a week from now on, is the plan, just breaking down a different track on the EP. So drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram to stay up to date. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers.